All right,
Good evening.
Sedge.
How you
Look,
doing?
Sedge and I, we already talked in the pre-recording show, even though we don't have a pre-show. Sedge and I are freaking tired right now, and so
It's been a long day.
it has been a very long day for both of us for very different reasons. So
Mm.
this will not be our usual long episode. If you've noticed how quiet it is in this episode, it's because Jason is finally gone.
Mm.
We finally got rid of him.
Yep. Adios, big guy. You're gone.
Jeez, I'm just
At
so
least for
glad.
an episode.
I'm just glad we have the ability now to not hear about Jason Bent from Jason
Oh
Bent.
my God. Hey, and this one goes out to Gary. We won't hear about how he's retiring either.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is this gonna be a drywall free episode?
I hope so. I mean, we could always schedule out 50 minutes to talk about drywall with each other.
I'll tell you what, his shop is pretty daggone quiet. I'll tell you that.
Well, I hope so. He spent 10 episodes talking about it.
Oh, and I'm going to say it really quick. He'll probably say it next episode. My God, thanks to everybody who came out Saturday to help move all that stuff. I couldn't believe it. I didn't have to really lift too much except do a color commentary and add my 2 cents to everything.
I would ask how long it's going to take, but I'm pretty sure Jason's going to tell us all about it in the next episode. So I'm not even going to touch it. Sedge, tell me about your frustration, and then I'm going to tell you about my frustration today.
Okay, so really quick, I just want to let everybody know I'm working on my internet connection. Okay. I've been doing line tests and I get lousy internet and I haven't been. So what I'm doing is I'm going to double my monthly fee, but I'm going to bump it up. But here's the problem. Mary and my wife up the appointment on Monday. And your typical, hey, we'll be there between 3 and 5. I said, hey, yeah, wicked cool, right? So I showed back up. I had the opportunity to come by the house between 3 and 5 and got all my work done early in the day. And we're waiting. And about 4 o'clock rolls around. I go, hey, babe, call this company and check to see exactly, because we heard nothing in the morning that will be out there. They forgot to submit the order to the installation crew. Oh my God. And Marianne was on hold for 45 minutes. A little ticked off. Typical, right? These days. Oh, I forgot to submit it. So long story short, they're coming out tomorrow between 3 and 5. More waste of time.
Yeah. So okay.
But
So
the reason of my
oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, the reason for my exhaustion is, oh my God, I had a training all day today with our sales managers. I had the advanced group. We built about, I think, 6 cabinets. I'm exhausted, man. I haven't done that in like 2.5, almost 3 years.
It's a gear change.
God. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was up all day. I was pumped. But man, when I get home tonight, hello, crash and burn. But I'm excited because you and I are talking again. So this is always fun.
That's right.
How about you, man? What's up with you?
Okay. So I think I mentioned this a couple months ago, right? Have you ever heard of the tonal?
You have one?
Well, no, not yet. I should have had one today. Yeah. So there's this company that deals with the delivery of all these different workout companies. It seems like Peloton. It's everything is handled by this logistics company called XPO.
Oh yeah, I've used them. I've had them.
Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely terrible. So I've had this scheduled appointment for months now to have this thing delivered to my house and installed and stuff. So again, months, right? And you guys know me. It's the same thing with the Castle 110. I don't care to wait. It does not bother me one bit to wait. What irritates the living hell out of me is when companies miscommunicate, they misrepresent what they say. That is unacceptable. And like everyone knows there's global shortages and all this other. Like I 100% get it. If you sat here and said, "Hey, I will have this to you in a year from today. I'm like, all right, cool. Like let's stick to our word then.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hate that.
So I had this set up for Tuesday, right? The initial delivery and installation. It's been this way for months. I clear my schedule because they said, they gave me a block of time between 9 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. I'm like, okay. I cleared my schedule, made sure I didn't have anything that existed outside of my home. And the day before, on Monday, they call me. Hey, we need to reschedule this for Wednesday. I'm like,
Mm.
oh,
Mm.
okay. Like I've already had to reschedule some stuff, but okay, I'll
Mm.
see if I can do Wednesday. I'm like, okay, it'll be there between 9 and 1 a.m. And
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I have things to do in the afternoon, but hopefully they show up early. They call me at 12:35. And again,
Oh.
the window was from 9 to 1. This thing is coming from Richmond. That's at least a 2-hour drive. So by like 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay, well, if they haven't left yet, then they're definitely not coming. Because they said, hey, we'll send an email when we're on our way. So they call me at 12:35. And I explained to this woman, like, hey, look, I know you're just the messenger. I'm not taking this out on you, but I'm effing pissed. I've
Mhm.
already this is because she's like, hey, we need to reschedule this. There's a problem at the warehouse, blah 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 blah. I'm like, look, you are now doing this 3 times. You are literally costing me money by doing this
Mhm. Mhm.
because there are other things that I should be doing that I can't now because you're rescheduling. Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. Yeah, look, ma'am, I understand that you're sorry, but I'm telling you right now, you are costing me money. It's like, okay, we'll take some off of your total charge. I'm like, okay, whatever. So they say, okay, the company that we hired to or that we contracted to take this thing out to you, they will be in touch with you tomorrow to reschedule. I'm like, okay. So then I get all my stuff ready for my bike because I have some friends that I was meeting down in Roanoke, and they were expecting me at a specific time. And so I'm literally on my motorcycle, and then I see an email come up on my phone.
Oh my
Your
God.
tonal is going to be delivered in within the hour. And I'm like, are you? And this is like 3:30 now or 2:30,
You
like
gotta be kidding
well
me.
well outside of the delivery window. And they're like, you can track it like on its way there. And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
It's
So
crazy.
I so I go in the email, I dial the phone number, and they're like, yeah, sir, we see that your terminal is going to be delivered within the hour. I'm like, no, it's not, because I'm not there. Well, sir, your delivery was today. You're like, yeah, it was from 9 to 1. It was, and then you guys called me, said that it wasn't going to come, and so you said that it wasn't going to come today, and now there's an email saying that it is coming. Oh, okay, sir, we'll tell the delivery driver to turn it on. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Jeez.
How is this possible?
Isn't that crazy?
How is because XPO, they're not Tonal obviously, but Tonal is contracting them to do this. Now look, this same thing happened to Jennifer with her Peloton. How is XPO still in business? The only thing I can think of is that they are the only business. And that's the reason why that like they're being used. It is ridiculous.
You know what? They think we have all the time in the world just to lay around. They think we're not busy. And
Three
I
times.
I thought this.
You're
Yeah, I thought this. I thought, I'm just going to sit around and wait for you. Don't you realize I work for a living? I got so many other things going on. It's
and like
crazy.
I'm almost half tempted to call them again tomorrow and be like, look, the amount that you took off, it's not enough. You
Yeah,
need to
I
do
would.
more.
I would.
God, man.
That's
It's
crazy. So what else you been up to? You been in the shop at all?
yeah, just making orders. Um
Cool.
I I'm about to ship my last one tomorrow, and then my shop's not closed, but I took all of my stock out. So it's everything's out of stock at the moment. But
Cool.
I had an order a customer request a return.
Ooh.
because they said that it wasn't tall enough. And
Mm.
like I'm all for, like, returning things if it didn't meet people's expectations or whatever, but because it's not tall enough, like, to me that's your fault, you know? And it's being shipped from New York, so I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna take like a $30 shipping hit to get this
Wow,
thing back here, and on top of that, the refund. Like, I may end up paying to take this thing back.
that's a drag, man.
It is. It's annoying.
So in my shop, I had the weekend off
Mm.
after helping Jace move that stuff.
You didn't film
I took
anything?
Sunday off, man,
That's
and
good.
I got some yard work done. But what was really cool is I put together my DP Pro Drill Press Pro from Woodpeckers.
What is that?
Holy crap! What a well-made drill press table,
Okay.
and
So
it was nice, man.
is that the one where you can like set like pre-positioned spots and then?
No. This is just the basic table, but it has the extensions and it has a great fence for your drill press. I've always made my own, but whenever I made it, I didn't make the offset of it to compensate for the, your crank that you move up
Yeah.
and down
Yeah.
for the travel. So I was always moving my table to raise and lower it. Well, they give you that little drawer on the bottom of it, which is great. You get storage for bits, but you're able to raise and lower it without moving it. And there's little things to it that I've watched their video and they really don't go over it. And it's really smart. Like in the middle to set it on your table, they give you a 1/4 inch hole drilled perfectly. So to set it up to your quill or your spindle on your drill press is wicked easy. I'm actually
Awesome.
doing a drill press primer video, probably going to start it this weekend. And I'm going to call out the table because that table is the real deal.
I I did some other woodworking, but it wasn't in my shop. I don't know if you saw my stories.
No, I've just
Okay.
been so preoccupied with getting everything ready for the national sales meeting and the training.
So let's rewind time a little bit, Sedge.
Okay.
Let's rewind it to this weekend that we just had.
Yep.
Okay. So Jen and I go to Louisiana for my 20-year high school reunion,
Oh,
right?
boy, that was already happening, huh?
Yeah. So we went down, had a blast. It was great. We went Sunday, or we drove down Friday, came back Sunday. And so we had a kind of a late start Sunday and ended up driving until like 3 in the morning to get home back here to Virginia. So on Friday, I remember getting alerts on my phone that there was a tornado watch in
Oh,
my area. Or a warning or a watch. I can't remember which.
wow.
Either way, I get these warnings. I'm like, okay, whatever. I live in the mountains. Tornadoes, we don't get tornadoes.
Hmm.
Flash forward back to Sunday, or really Monday morning at like 3 a.m. Jen and I are pulling into my driveway, right?
Yeah.
The lights are, sweeping across my driveway up to my house. There is a massive oak tree that has fallen down in my driveway. And for those of you,
Wow. Holy moly, Ben.
that is the tree. That's Jen.
Holy moly.
That's Jen's car after we moved it. It was her hood was like right here.
It missed it.
Oh no, it hit it.
Oh,
Luckily, it wasn't too bad. I'm sorry for audio listeners. You'd have to watch the video to see this.
wow.
Yeah.
Holy mac,
Um.
man.
So that was my neighbor's oak tree,
Huh.
and then there was the top of a pine tree, probably 25 feet of it, was about 2 feet away from hitting my house. It's really hard to see in this camera, I know.
Wow, but look at that. That's huge, dude.
Yeah. So
So a tornado did hit the
no, no,
area.
no, 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 no. It wasn't a tornado. So funny enough, like I wake up,
Wow.
I wake up Monday morning. Again, I know you really can't see it, but
But look at that.
but it's, I mean, that's my propane tank.
Yeah,
That's the tree. Three
dude,
3 feet away from it.
that's crazy, man. Just really high winds.
Yeah. So
Huh.
we get woken up by a knock on the door on Monday morning at like 10 in the morning. And it's like my town's fire marshal, but he's with some two guys from the National Weather Service. And so they're like, "Hey, is it all right if we walk around on the property? We're coming to kind of assess everything, see what happened." I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, walk around." And so they're, taking measurements and taking pictures and all this other stuff. And so they're like, "Yeah, just based on how far the trees flew, because there were other tops of trees that that were 100 feet away from the other part of the tree that was still on the ground." Um, and I'm not, I mean, they're like huge trees, right? And so they said, yeah, this was what we call a microburst. And a microburst, it's, a tornado, it's a swirling wind. Well, a microburst is a linear wind. It's like
Mm.
a straight gust. And they said that it was probably around 88 miles an hour.
Jeez,
That
Christ.
it just happened in about 5 minutes. And that's what caused, and there were other trees kind of in my village that the same thing happened, but they were all in a line. And they say the reason why we know it's a microburst is because literally all the trees are pointed northwest.
Ah, gotcha.
And so I spent all day, um Monday and Tuesday, yeah, cutting up all these trees that are in my yard. Obviously my neighbor is taking care of the one that his tree that fell in my yard. So that's going to take a little bit longer. But they said, for his tree, and it's a red oak that's probably, I don't know,
Mm.
115 years old. So it's big.
Holy crap.
Um, I think they said it's, and obviously insurance is going to cover it, but they said it's going to cost like $10,000 just to get that tree out of there because they have to cut it in place. I mean, it's literally in my
Oh,
driveway.
snap.
Yeah,
Oh, snap.
and that thing completely uprooted, like massive hole in the ground now.
The power of Mother Nature, right?
I'm telling you, man.
Phew. Man,
Telling
I
you.
living 23 and a half years down in Fort Lauderdale. I've seen some hellacious stuff with hurricanes. Like I
Telling you,
just
man.
like it's mind boggling. And I'm not going
I
to get into that tonight, but
Yeah.
it's wild what you
I
see.
I I was just it just blew my mind, no pun intended, how
Yeah.
far the how far the tops of these trees blew away from where
Yeah.
they were. And like the base of it, or not the base of it, but where it snapped off, you
Mm,
could tell that this pine tree just got twisted completely. Like a
that's
bottle cap just ripped it right off. It
crazy,
was
man.
nuts. Nuts. And there's a huge maple tree in the center of my yard that's
Hmm.
maybe 15 feet away from my house. And if that thing would have fallen, my house would have been totaled.
Wow. That
Yeah.
was close to your propane tank too, huh?
Oh yeah, very close. Very close.
Ooh, doggy.
Yeah.
Mm. Hey, you want to hear a fun tidbit about today?
What's that?
Okay, now this isn't gonna be a downer, but I was cruising my normal websites this morning. I was blown away because I didn't know there's a person who I love that passed away many years ago on this day. It was Bob Marley.
Yeah.
You know how old he was? He died of cancer, but you know how old
He was
Bob
young.
Marley
He
was?
was in his 30s.
36 years old.
That's crazy, man.
Oh man, the catalog of music that he created was unreal.
Yeah.
Legend is one of my favorite albums of all time. Not my favorite, but one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did I just can't believe a life taken like that young.
36, man.
Imagine if he was still alive and all the great music he would have made.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
but once again, his music lives on, right?
That's right.
Pretty wild. So what
So
do we
what'd you want to get into tonight, Sedgley?
here's a little bit. This is a topic that came up. I was chatting with this wonderful, wonderful woman down at Rubio, and I'm gonna just throw this out because I wanna talk about a few things. Not getting too into it, but This is a topic I proposed the last one, but we never got into it because that was a great conversation. The last podcast, that was fantastic, and we didn't want to stop it. But here's something I want to propose: woodworking joinery. What has worked for you? What hasn't? What do you prefer to do? How it's evolved, or just I'll throw it out there. What works for you? What doesn't work for you? What do you go to the most of the time? I'll let you go. I'll let you start with that one, Ben.
So, I mean, obviously the domino, I use the domino for everything.
Of course.
But the domino, it's a good complementary mortise and tenon for a plethora of joints.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to talk joints, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the ones that I use the most at the moment are all mitered for the most part, because all of my stools, they're waterfall edges. And so I use miters for everything, but those miters are reinforced with dominoes, and that's what actually makes the stool strong. That's what makes it hold up to the weight. That and the shape does it a little bit too. I mean, you can't go wrong with a butt joint, you know. Rabbets or grooves, dados, which, I mean, they're still butt joints. There's a little bit more reinforcement there on the substrate, but God, I'm trying to remember. I mean, those are the ones that I use the most.
Okay, so
half laps, bridle joints.
Okay. What you're trying to do with woodworking joinery when I teach it is create glue line strength, long grain to long grain glue line strength. Okay. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because, of course, I've been woodworking a few years, and
just a little
yeah, Barney, I taught Barney Rubble. And but the thing is people get stuck on, of course, I'm going to use right now, I'm going to use a domino because I just think it's it's a mortise and tenon. It's loose tenon joinery. It gives you, I think, great long grain to long grain adhesion.
Yeah, you're increasing surface area so much when you use a domino.
And also, but mortise and tenon, someone says, well, I like traditional mortise and tenon. What's the difference? It is traditional mortise and tenon.
Yeah.
I'm just using a different machine to accomplish it.
Absolutely.
So the point that I wanted to get across with this is the person I sat down with, I'd never met her before. I'm going to call her out on Instagram. She's Wooden Maven, at Wooden Maven. Her name is Cha Milla King. And we were talking about pocket hole joinery. And I said, oh, I love pocket hole joinery. She goes, what do you mean? And I go, listen, some people start somewhere, right? And I will promote pocket hole joinery because it's a simple, inexpensive way to get somebody, and I like saying this, get somebody into woodworking.
Absolutely. It's very accessible.
Is it a woodworking joint? Absolutely. It's just using a mechanical fastener instead of the long grain to long grain adhesion.
Yeah. And
she was down at Rubio. We talked quite a bit through the course of the 2 days. And for me these days, I just want to get more and more people into woodworking. That's why I like to promote things and talk to people, go to events, because I think we need more and more young people to get into woodworking. And then you progress. So she had never used the domino there. And in the midst of all of it, she goes, Sedge, I got to tell you, she goes, I always looked at this domino joiner and of course we look at the price tag and everything. But she goes, it's not that I want one, is that I need one, because she understands woodworking and going to another level. Follow me? Yeah. But so somebody comes into my shop and they look and I go, you got a Craig pocket hole jig? I go, yeah, because I need it. There's certain applications I need it. So I don't, what I wanted to get across with this topic was, I tell people, don't get snooty and say you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way. There's 100 ways to skin a cat. There's 100 ways to do a butt joint,
Yeah.
but you got to start somewhere. Just get started into woodworking and then progress from there. You've owned a biscuit joiner, haven't you, Ben?
Oh yeah.
Right? I did too. I've had 2 or 3 of them. But then I discovered the domino. I've
Yeah.
hand cut mortise and tenons. I've taught people how to hand cut mortise and tenons. But but it's always based on the length and the surface area for that glue to adhere long grain to long grain.
When someone, and I don't want to sit here and drone on about the domino. I mean, it's an incredible machine. And for anyone that is ever on the fence about purchasing the domino, whether it's the 500 or the 700, you know, the one thing that I always like to ask people when they're asking whether they should get it or not because of the price, I always say, "What's your time worth?
Mm-hmm.
What's your time worth to you? Can you do other joints in lieu of a domino? Well, of course you can. It's just a mortise and tenon. You just said it says there's 1,000 different ways to skin the cat.
Mm-hmm.
What is your time worth? Because that is a very expensive piece of machinery, but that thing pays for itself the more that you use it, and then it's going to give back to you in the amount of time that you're going to save. Like and again, and that to me, that's with almost any tool that carries a high price tag, but it ends up saving you time in the end.
For 15 years, I've been teaching people, a little over 15 years, teaching people about the domino joiners.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it, Ben. You just said what's your time worth. What I really like about it is I always, in class, whether it's an end user class, dealer class, whatever, I say, hey, when I start the domino segment of teaching, I go, how many people have hand cut a mortise and tenon? A couple of people. And I go, have you used the domino joiner yet? They go, no. I go, wait till you see how easy this is.
Yeah.
And then I would go through the class teaching people about the domino. And then I go, everybody looks at me and they go, it's so easy. And I go, it shouldn't be. Because if you've ever done layout, just layout on mortise and tenon joinery, it's a pain in the royal rump. And there's so many times I have gotten it. I've made mistakes. I've gotten it wrong.
And you've got to fine tune it. You've got to match grain. You've got to do it's, again, teach their own. But and this even goes to the hobbyists, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm not in production work, so that means that having the domino really isn't a good thing. Bull. Mm-hmm. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows that I love riding motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
I will do anything to give me more time in the saddle. Anything.
Yeah.
And so, would you rather spend a weekend cutting a bunch of mortise and tenons by hand? Which, again, if that's what you love to do, mazel tov. Knock yourself out, kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to have time for other things besides cutting mortise and tenons, then you may want to invest in that because it's going to save you a lot of time.
Yeah, and you can walk away and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
My whole life is saving time nowadays. I have there's only so many hours in the day to accomplish what I want to accomplish in life. And there's a lot of fun things I want to do, and woodworking is one of them. So if I can find time to save more time in the shop to do other things, to learn something new in the shop, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, when people look at the domino, I'll always say it shouldn't be this easy. You are doing a true woodworking joint, wood to wood joinery. It's not mechanical. And I have never, ever had a failure. Whenever I've talked to people about having a failure with a domino joint, it's because their glue is old.
Mm-hmm.
The glue has failed. The domino, mortise, and tenon has not. So this isn't sponsored by Festool by any means, but I get so giddy when I can teach a new woodworker on how to use the domino.
You see their eyes kind of light up.
Oh my God, they could, because there's a lot of times people won't do mortise and tenon joinery because it's laborious. It's too much, and this just opens up so much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I have a problem with probably using it too much. you know, like, because I have the castle now, which is a really great piece of machinery. Um, yeah, I mean, there I can think of several projects over the last year where it's like I use the domino just because I have it, not because it was the right tool at the right time, you know. And I probably over domino all of my
Mhm.
projects because it's like, well, I've got it. It's quick. It's easy,
Yeah,
you know.
I know.
And that project will probably never fall apart because of how many dominoes it has in it.
I know. But it's there
Yeah,
and you're very proficient at it.
yeah,
So you're pretty much probably taking the path of least resistance instead of doing another setup.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am with that.
But you know, and I think with joinery too that there are so many different considerations that you need to take when it comes to joinery. You know, obviously the first one should be the strength. You know, and thinking of, okay, what is the application of this, of where this joint is? Is this joint holding something together? What are the forces? What are the axial
Mm-hmm.
forces that are going to be exerted? Is it going to be, well, I don't want to get too mathy on it, but you know, what direction is force going to be exerted? And you want the domino to counteract that
Mm-hmm.
directional force, you know? Um, so you
Is
want to
it?
think about workload. What?
Yeah, no, it's like I did a video on domino angle, and I've had some comments on it, but that I don't think the comments were they were not get bent style comments. They were just saying, Sedge, I think you missed it on this, but I don't think they listened too well on why I did it,
Hmm.
because there's their way of doing it is correct. I do that a lot, and I'm going to have to do an addendum video on Sedge tool to do this. But I was compensated not just for glue line, but also this one person who had reached out to me said, "Can you do a video on this?" It was also for shear strength,
Yeah, yeah,
and sometimes you have to comp you. It's not just glue line, but it's shear strength.
yeah. And then again, that's taking into consideration the axial forces that are going to be applied to that particular joint or glue
E-
line.
exactly.
You know, that's why, you know, a dovetail, it is a mechanical joint because you can only put it together one way. And
Mm-hmm.
typically, when you do your dovetails, you want to do it against that um, the direction that it's going to be used. Like with drawer
Yes.
fronts, dovetails are exceptional for drawer fronts because there's nowhere for that wood to go. Even if the glue fails, the dovetail itself,
Uh,
it's a mechanical joint. It's not going to come
uh,
apart.
Perfect, Ben, because I was waiting. I was going to actually mention that. That's perfect
And
because that
so,
is a mechanical. It
yeah,
adds glue line,
yeah,
but it's mechanical because you're right. It works on those different forces.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Perfect.
you want to think about again the load that it's going to be under, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's also the aesthetics of it, right? Yeah, you could get this one joint done as a butt joint or a rabbit, but it's going to look really pretty as a miter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you cut some splines into it to have a little bit of accent. So you want to think about, okay, how do I want this joint to look? Do I want to see the edge grain and the face grain at a corner, or do I want to see none of that? I just want to see face grain. You know,
Mm.
um, I don't know what are
It's
some
it's
other.
like today. It's like today we were building cabinets. We built the 6 cabinets, and what I like to teach people is when I'm building cabinetry, I go, so do you know the tops and the bottoms go in between the sides? And then I'll show them, well, what if I put the side on top of the tops and bottoms? And they go, well, that'll work. I go, yeah, but you can't put any heavy plates in there, can you? And
Hmm.
then all of a sudden it's that epiphanal moment where everybody goes, oh, that's sheer strength.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because I know a guy who used to build kitchens in Fort Lauderdale, and he would build like that because he didn't want to re-veneer underneath. And I looked at somebody, I go, that's just an excuse. He's just lazy. Do you know anybody who actually looks underneath an upper cabinet?
Jason Bent. That's who.
But that's why if you do, that was good. If you do, that's why you re-veneer the bottom. But
Yeah.
he was just being lazy. He didn't want to re-veneer the bottom. And I looked at it because I was in one of his kitchens that my buddy bought. And I looked at it, I go, don't put any heavy plates. And he went, I knew there was something wrong with that.
Yeah.
I knew there was something wrong because it did. So that's where I'll get back to your eye. Your eye never lies. You just don't know, but you know there's something wrong there.
Yeah. You just can't put your finger on it.
Exactly. And it was
Yeah.
just funny because he went, daggone it. And I go, don't worry about it. It supposedly he had an engineer look at it. That's a bunch of hoo-ha. Because I talked to the guy, he told me, he goes, I never did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He was just being like,
what are some other considerations that you have, Sedge, when it comes to the joints you use and when?
well, it's shear strength, but it's glue line. For me, I'll preach it to the end of the day. It's length of tenon, and also like, okay, so let's look at this. This is my big consideration is length of tenon. Like someone says, okay, I get this so many times throughout the week. Why should I get an XL or a 500? And
Mhm.
it's not because of the thickness of tenon for shear strength, it's for length of tenon.
Yeah.
It's the long grain to long grain adhesion. Boy, I could talk hours on this. I'm not going to, because there's so many people who teach that are good, but they talk about joint strength, and it's not shear strength. It's the glue line strength of it. And
Mhm.
I've actually pulled people aside to go, do you talk about glue line strength? He goes, yeah, I talk about joint strength. I go, your class doesn't understand that.
Mhm.
Do you know who the best of the best who teaches glue line strength is Mark Adams, because he teaches, I've seen it 4 times, I think. He teaches a full hour on just different glues. It's amazing. Every time I've seen it, it's incredible because
So
there's
would you
so
say that
much.
it's a really sticky class?
You're really glued to the speaker. But it's funny because most instructors whip out the roll of straws. Have
Yeah,
you ever
yeah,
seen
yeah.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they say, okay, so this is the wood cell,
Mhm.
and this is end grain, and this is long grain. And I've actually done that, and then I throw away my pack of straws. But that's glue line strength. So that's why the difference between an XL and a 500 is because when you build like and the class I always used to teach is the farm table. And
Mhm.
basically, let's just talk about a 4x4 and an apron skirt going in there.
Mhm.
We could use an 8x50 because it's a third, third, and a third. It's 25 millimeter thick, 1 inch, 25 millimeter apron skirt, maple to the maple leg 4x4. Okay. But a fifth, and someone says, well, I'll just double up the tenons. That doesn't work because you're 25 and 25 in each one with the 500.
Yeah.
But boy, when you can whip out, when you can with you behave with the 700, you can go 50 and 50 into each side with a
Yeah.
8x100.
And that's
Now you're talking.
yeah, you're going to get less what would you even call that? Shift in movement?
Yes, you're going to get a lot of adhesion
Mhm.
because you're 50 millimeters into the apron skirt, you're 50 millimeters into the leg, and then you double that up. You basically got a true mortise and tenon,
Yeah. Yeah.
and because of the surface area of
Yeah,
adhesion.
you've drastically increased the amount of surface area for glue. And that is with all joints. That's why um a dado joint will be much stronger than just a traditional butt joint, where all you're doing is you're adhering to the surface. But if you're cutting a groove into the fibers of the female piece, so now you're getting glue line along the edge grain of the board being inserted, but you're also getting it along that little bit of a lip
Mm-hmm.
on the face grain. And so
Mm-hmm.
now you have 3 sides that are on a glue line strength versus just one side. And you have the strength of the substrate itself.
Yes, and you also have the shear strength of that little lip
Yeah.
for load.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you're thinking about how can I make this joint stronger, you need to think how can I increase the surface area
Mm-hmm.
of where this glue is going to go. And obviously the domino does that on its own because you're inserting a mortise into both pieces of wood. And so you've already drastically increased how much glue is going to be on a surface.
So I had been woodworking for quite a few years, and then Mark Adams came down to my shop and taught for the South Florida Woodworkers Guild, and he gave us an hour on glue. And at the end of the 2 days, he pulled me aside. He goes, "Hey, would you?" This is about 20 years ago, 22 years ago. He pulled me aside. He goes, "Hey, what did you like about this?" And I go, "One, your talk on design. Boy, can he break it down. He's probably the best instructor I've ever met in my life, and because he knows how to break it down for all levels." But I go, "Mark, your whole talk on glue, I knew it, but I thought I knew it. But when you break it down and talk about adhesion surface area, it's awesome. And just breaking down end grain versus long grain. And I hope everybody, we had about 50 people in that group for the weekend. And I hope everybody took that away. So in future meetings, I would always mention it. I go, "Did you guys understand all that?" They go, "Yeah, that was amazing that somebody broke it down like that."
After Workbench Con, I think more and more about how beneficial it would be to attend just any kind of a school, any kind of a
Mm-hmm.
woodworking school, because there's only so much that you can learn by watching a video or reading an article, or just going out in your shop and trying to wing it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I could certainly pick up a whole lot more in a short amount of time than if I were to try to do it on my own. A very concise block of time.
Ben, the best part about it is you have somebody when they take a break, you have somebody just to go over and go, "Hey, I got a question."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the right instructor will put everything down and just take their time and
Yeah.
go through it. The next thing you know, the class starts back up and everybody is there. And then they pull you aside halfway through that next segment and go, "Daggone it, I'm glad you asked them that," or "I'm glad you asked her that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you one today. I said, "Hey, we're going to start with the LR32. We're going to punch out the sides." And I had 8 people, 9 people, eight people in class. And I said, "Does anybody want me to go through a primer on the LR32, or do you gut this?" Pause.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Then all of a sudden, "Yeah, okay, I'd like to see it." Then all of a sudden, somebody else spoke up. She went, "Yeah, I'd like to have that, Sedge." Halfway through, three guys.
Nobody wants to be the one
No, but three
that
basically.
admits that they don't know.
"Oh, Sedge, I forgot how to do that." "Oh, thanks." "Oh, I didn't know that." It was really, really cool. So
It's funny.
here's the other thing I learned as an instructor: ask the question and wait.
Yeah.
Give them that time to respond. Don't just say, "Okay, give them 30 seconds and go."
Yeah.
Give them that time to respond. Hey, you know what? That's another topic we could probably go into, because you guys are really good. You guys were drill instructors, you and Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the nuances when you're instructing people?
No, you just
That
beat
might
them in
be
the
a good
face.
topic one of these nights.
You just punch them in the face. Does
Yeah.
anyone else want an instruction? No, just
If anybody asks another question, you're gonna drop and give me 30.
Are there any more dumb questions?
God, I'd love to have seen you guys in your prime.
I'm still in my prime, Sedge.
Yeah, baby. Too
Sedge,
cool.
I didn't notice, but our shirts match.
What's yours say?
Well, it's not about the saying; it's about the color, man.
Oh yeah, they are good color, aren't they?
It is.
Yours is Outer Banks, right?
Festool navy blue.
That is nice. Look at this one. I wore this tonight. Watch. I'm gonna break it up. Check it out.
Metric great again.
I think I'm the only one who bought one, he said.
Maybe Hans can change that.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the last 2 podcasts?
I haven't.
You don't have to listen to the whole thing. Just listen to the beginning.
Yeah.
I've started something new. Yeah.
Now you're talking. Is it Hans?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a few people help us that listened to the Green Suitors this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, yeah. Oh, Drew, you're great. Alec, Thanks for being there. I'm forgetting 4 or 5 people that were there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I go, we were talking, and I go, wouldn't it be great to do? Somebody said, you guys should do a whole Hans episode.
And that's what Jason said.
They love you. They love Hans.
Good.
Yeah. So I thought I'd shout it out.
Hans is always liking that when the guys love him, you know?
Ed Mancini was there. Oh God, he's pretty cool, man. He came up twice, and he's from Louisville. And
that's quite the drive. It's like a 3-hour drive.
Rick came, Rick Bush, my buddy from Festool. He was there with us. It was a great group of people.
It's awesome.
Kind of forgetting people. I apologize if I forget somebody, but it was nice. Nice meeting, and they're just hanging out and having a couple of sausages after. Boy, they found a really good German deli butcher.
I'm sure Nicole knows where every single German butcher shop is in the Indy.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, they've acclimated really well, it seems. So yeah, boy, that new house. Wait till you see it, man. Ooh,
well, hopefully it's done by the time I come up in 2 weeks, because I'm not doing any work.
I'm not doing any work, man. You're gonna be here in 2 weeks, huh?
That's right,
dude.
I'm gonna see stoked. Eric. I should be at Eric's next Tuesday.
Oh wow.
So I don't know how we're gonna do the podcast, but I may try to see Alma on Wednesday. I don't know timing wise if I'll be able to.
Wow.
So
cool. Hopefully I get to see Alma in June. I'm doing a gig for a day and a half. It kind of switched up on me, but I'm going to be doing a full end user event at in Chicago at JC Licht. It's one of the paint dealers there, but I'm going to call it out. Maybe get a bunch of people to show up. They're really great people. I think they have like 50 locations up in that area.
Cool.
Oh my God, everything is starting to get busy again at work. Holy macanoli. It's fun, but man, I started that other stuff there, and I'm like trying to juggle stuff, and it's
you're trying to put 5 pounds of sawdust in a 3-pound sawdust bag. To be PG.
I'm trying to put as much CT48 dust in a CT26 bag, baby.
That's a good one.
Not bad. Hey, do you have any get bents, Hans?
I don't, man.
Neither do I. I think everybody just hates Jason.
I mean, as long as we continue to pander to that, segment. It's not get Ben. It's not get Sedge.
Nope. Hey, it's funny because didn't we always start that where everybody hates Jason?
That's right. That's how it started.
That's how it started.
Everyone hates awesome. Jason.
You know what? I can't believe. I think this is episode 37.
37. Mm-hmm.
Holy man, this is so cool.
We're coming up on a year, man.
That's crazy, man.
July. What was it? It's like mid-July was our first episode, I think.
Cool. Do you get any call-outs? You get any call-outs tonight?
No.
Okay, so we need to make a mention. I'll have you do it. The pouch.
Yes. So let me see. This episode comes out. Excuse me, folks. Yeah. So look, as you're listening to this episode, you've only got like a week left to enter our giveaway, which is in conjunction with Leather by Dragonfly. If you guys ever watch Sedge's lives, you see this little pouch that he always has on his hip. That is aptly called the Sedgley. And it's got a whole bunch of different little pouches that you can put like stuff that you need, quick access, tape measures, markers, pickers, knives, all kinds of stuff. And it's something that you can just like hang up on the wall at the entryway to your shop. If you've got some quick stuff that you've got to do, you throw the pouch on. It's got a really sweet hooking system or a
belt clip.
Yeah, belt clip system. So it's easy to put on, easy to take off, and it's not as involved, I guess, as putting on an apron. And again, maybe you don't need to put an apron on for the work that you're doing, but the Sedge, again, it's a really great thing to have around. And even if you don't want it for the shop, it's a great thing to have, like a utility pouch for stuff you got to fix around the house. A couple screwdrivers, a couple nails, a couple screws.
Great
Yeah.
for electrical.
Yeah, really great for electrical. That's actually a really good one. Some snippers, some electrical tape. That's actually a really good reason. So if you want the chance to win one, make sure you go to our website, www.greenseaterspodcast.com. The landing page is the giveaway page. Just enter in your information, and the winner will be drawn on June 1st, and we'll announce it on all of our social media channels. So again, if you want to win a Sedgley, it's like $100 something, $120, something like that, right?
Yep. And if you don't win one, go buy one, because I'm going to tell you, a pouch, I've worn one my entire life. I've owned all of them. I've tried all of them. This was designed by Patrick and Michelle. Well, Michelle. And we prototyped it for over a year. Jason, Bent, myself. Ben, did you have one?
No, mine's on the way though.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you, this is an amazing pouch. The belt clip, I have one now a year and a half, and the belt clip is still solid on it, but it's gone through a few redesigns, and it's a wonderful. I can't say enough nice things about this thing. It's awesome. In fact, today at work, they go, "What's this called?" And I go, "It's leather by Dragonfly." They go on and they go, and they go, "They're calling it the Sedgley," and I go, "Yeah, I prototyped it for a year." And I was like, they were like, "Okay." And my buddy Keith ordered one right there.
And look, this thing, it's purely American made.
Yep.
Right. It is made in Ohio by Patrick and Michelle. It's not outsourced to anybody. It's not made in another country. It is 100% American made product, and it is very high quality. I have Jason's old apron that Patrick and Michelle made 4 years ago, and that thing is hold up exceptionally well. It is in great condition.
And they get more comfortable by the day, don't they?
That's right. That's right. It fits like a glove.
Yep, for sure. Cool.
Well, Sedge, I think that'll do it for this episode.
Wow.
I mean,
that was awesome, man.
I think we should call this like the celebration episode, because finally Jason's not here.
I know.
You know,
Ben, you've been in every single one, huh?
I know. I'm like
you're the Rock.
I'm like the patriarch. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of I'm the glue that holds everything together.
Man. Okay, I'm just going to say it really quick. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. If you want to find out more about us, make sure you check the notes in the description for this podcast of where you can find all of us on our various social media channels and on our website. And until the very next episode, we bid you all adieu.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.